Now let's take a look at saving and restoring registers in procedures. So here's a function. This function is called by something else, and this function itself calls a subfunction. And the question is, which of these registers need to be saved and restored, and why? Is it because this is the callee or the caller? So to help you out, we have a list here of all of the different registers and who's supposed to save them. So go ahead and take a look at this. All right, so to get started, let's understand what's going on here. So A0 here is the argument going into the function. So this is the argument coming into function. But down here we have A0 again, but if you look, we're writing A0. A0 is the destination of this add. This A0 that we're overwriting, this is now the argument going into subfunction. So we've taken our argument, we've done some work on it, and we created a new argument, which we're putting into the subfunction. Now we've got two uses of V0 here. This first V0 here that we're reading, this is the result that comes back from subfunction. This second V0 that we're writing, we're taking the result from subfunction, we're doing an add to it, and that's generating the result for our main function, which we're then going to return. Okay, so we're using the arguments and the results correctly here. Now, let's take a look at T0 here. Do we need to save T0? Well, T0 is caller save. So that means we need to save it if we're calling subfunction. But we don't use it after subfunction. So after subfunction, we never read T0 again. So if subfunction writes over T0, we don't actually care because we're never going to use it again. So that means we don't have to save it because it's caller save, and we as the caller, we don't care about it after we've called subfunction. How about S1? So do we need to save S1? S1 is callee saved. So what that means is that if subfunction here changes it, subfunction will save it. So we don't care about what subfunction does because it's callee saved, but if we change the value of S1, whatever function up here called us might need it. So we do need to save this, and we need to save it because we're the callee of another function. So we do need to save S1 as a callee. Finally, do we need to save RA? Well, RA is callee save. So that means if subfunction in here changes it, it'll put it back for us. But when we do jump and link updates RA, it changes it. And so we need to save it before we do jump and link so that we can restore it when we jump out of our function. So we do need to save it. We need to save it as a callee.